You guys ready to have a champion time with your Pokemon TCG play? Then look no further than the Leon's Charizard deck. This is actually one of my personal favorite decks here, and I'm really stoked to finally be able to show it to you guys. But first off, how you all doing today? Hope it's a fantastic day for you all. But what can make it even a more fantastic day is if you hit the subscribe button with that notification bell so you guys can see more videos like this, more of our content, including product opening, but also slowly but surely bringing back deck profiles. And this one is going to be Leon's Charizard. Now, let's go ahead and see what makes the Charizard so special. So, it's got two things about it that's really, really cool. It's got Battle Sense and Royal Blaze. The main focus of the deck, though, is Royal Blaze. For 2 fire, it does 100 damage, and the attack does 54 damage for each Leon card in your discard pile. And since you're allowed to run up to 4 cards, that could boost all the way up to 300 damage, which one-shots any V, regular V in the game, even with the Champion's Cape, I believe. And Battle Sense right here is a pretty good ability as well. Once during your turn, you may look at your top 3 cards, add one of them to your hand, and discard the other. So you can either add that Leon to your hand potentially, or choose to mill the Leon and get whatever card you want. And so we do go ahead and run 4 copies of the Charizard here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the Leon now. Normally, I show you guys the supporters later, but it's literally the second half of the deck, so might as well show it now. So we do run 4 copies of the Leon supporter. Now, what the supporter does is that during your turn whenever you play this card, your active Pokemon does 30 more damage. So, if you have 3 Leon in your discard pile, and you play your 4th one for turn, that's 330 damage. Guys, that literally, other than Eternatus VMAX, that one-shots every VMAX in the game. One-shots every VMAX, every V-Union gets one-shotted by this. And whenever we get those V-Star cards, that Arceus one, it gets one-shotted by this too. This one prizer right here can one-shot nearly any VMAX in the game. Like, that is insane right there. And even though this is a standard deck, we still have quite a ways to get this guy out. And expanded, he's probably even crazier. So as I said, we are running 4 copies of the Leon here. And for our other lineups here for Charizard, we are going to be running 4 copies of Charmander, just because we need to get him out as quick as possible. And we are running the 1 copy of Charmeleon, just in case Rare Candy doesn't always work out for us. But even a powerhouse like Charizard needs some backup. So we're going to be going ahead and run 3 Swablu and 3 Altaria. Now, one of my Altaria is just the one from Champion's Path, the Miraculous Charm one, preventing damage from Vs and GXs. So it's a decent wall there. But the one we have 2 copies of here is the one we got from Evolving Skies. And it's all about Tempting Tune. Is that once during your turn, you search your deck for your supporter, shuffle your deck, and you get to put the supporter on top. So this goes really well with the Battle Sense ability, because you put these 2 together, you're getting your Leons every single turn to use for Battle Sense, whether it be milling them or using the Leon just to boost up your damage. And even after you get all your Leons, this is still incredibly busted, because you're basically guaranteeing yourself a supporter every single turn, whether it be a draw supporter, be a boss's orders, whatever you need, you are guaranteeing it with this Altaria here. Like I said, I did want to go for the 2-1 split to have the nice little wall. But if you want to do 3 copies of the Tempting Tune, that's fine as well. Consistency is key. And last up for the Pokemon I do run 4 copies of Snorlax. Honestly, any Stage 2 deck means either Snorlax, Amazing Rare Jirachi, or the Mew that we got from oh my god, I almost had Champion's Path. Celebrations. Anytime you run a Stage 2 deck, you should have at least one of those cards as well. And for those who don't know, Snorlax we use completely for Gourmandize. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's inactive, you can draw cards till you have 7 and your turn ends. This is a fantastic card to start your first few turns with. Just to keep adding to your hand, getting all the pieces you need to get the Charizard and your Altaria just roaring to go. And with that, that's going to be it for our Pokemon and our first supporter here, Leon. And with that, we're going to get into our other trainer lineup. Starting off with the obvious stuff. 4 copies of Professor's Research. Not really much to explain here. Oops, sorry. Discarding your hand is always powerful to draw 7 cards, especially more in this deck. If you have a few Leons in your hand, Professor's Research them away, and you're dealing the damage. We got 3 copies there of Marnie. Once again, obvious reasons. Good draw supporter. 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Now, you can run 2 or 3. I think 2 is fine in this deck, especially because you have the Altaria to get the Boss's Orders whenever you want. So, always nice there. Running 2 copies of Raihan. Now, Raihan is such an amazing card. We got this guy here from Evolving Skies, and he's just so amazing. So how this guy works is that whenever one of your Pokemon is knocked out by your opponents during their turn, you get to play this card, you attach an energy from the discard pile to that Pokemon, and you get to search your deck for any card whatsoever. So really an awesome card here. Not to mention a full art Raihan with a full art Leon. That's just asking for greatness right there. And the last supporter I do run, I am trying out 1 copy of Professor Burnett that we got from the V-Union boxes. I'm very iffy on this card, but in this deck, it actually works pretty well. Because if you happen to get this card, or you could search it with the Altaria, tongue-tied there, I'm sorry. What Professor Burnett does is that you're able to search your deck for any 2 cards and put them to the discard pile. This card right here is an instant 2 Leons in your discard pile. So, with the Altaria and Professor Burnett, you're adding that damage so much quicker than before. And I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, fire decks are dead now. We don't have Welder anymore. This deck did not die with Welder being rotated out. Trust me. This deck, Welder's great, but this deck is still perfectly fine without Welder. Now for our items here, most of our items are pretty standard. We got 4 copies of Quick Ball, pitch a card, search for a basic, standard stuff. Now once we get Ultra Ball back, I'm definitely going to be putting Ultra Ball in the deck. We've got 4 copies Evolution Incense, 4 copies of Rare Candy. We've got our 2 copies of Switch. We have 1 EXP share, and we have 1 Ordinary Rod, just to help recycle some of our energy in Pokemon. And speaking of energy, we've got ourselves 9 basic energies here. And that's really it for the energy that I run. There is a special fire energy you could run if you want, but I don't really see much of a point in it. So with that, guys, that has been my Leon's Charizard deck profile. Very fun and very budget friendly compared to a lot of the other decks out there. Matter of fact, at some point, this was actually extremely cheap because the Charizard was actually in a theme deck. But that theme deck got bought up pretty quick. But it's still a pretty cheap card. Like, it's really not expensive at all. You guys might have noticed that I don't really run stadiums in this deck. That's because I really couldn't find a room. But if you guys mess around with this deck a little bit and find some things you want to take out for a stadium, Path to the Peak is something I highly recommend. And I can't really think of any other any V Pokemon would run. Some decks do run 1 copy of like Eldegoss to get back their Leons to use over and over. That's okay. And it does have the attack where it can like put itself back to the hand, but that's energy you have to commit to that Pokemon. And not to mention that is a 2-prizer just lurking there. While the whole deck is a 1-prize based deck, which 1-prizers can actually thrive a little bit now that ADP has been rotated out. So, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Really hope you guys do. If you guys really want deck profiles to come back more and more, I have a few more ideas for decks. But, like I said, just getting this video out there, sharing it with your friends, liking the heck out of it, commenting the heck out of it. Like, that's going to help. That's going to really show me that you guys want the deck profiles back. Because I've been wanting to do deck profiles back for a long time, but I just want to make sure that you guys want this as well. So, show me love, guys. Show me that you really like this or really hate it. Like, don't be afraid to give me criticism. If you guys absolutely hate this deck, feel free to tell me. So, with that, hope you all have a fantastic day. And hopefully, since events are starting to come back a little bit, I've given you guys a decent deck to go back to your locals with.